I'd like to apologize to the victim in this case. I have to make this my last time in jail, and I plan to.
You've had a lifetime of criminal activity, but none worse than what has occurred here.
Out of here, man.
Judge.
No, I took my plea back, man. Get the out of here, man. Get me out of here. Get me out of here, man. Get me out of here, man.
Almost done, Judge.
Get the out of here.
And they,
No, man, get me out of here.
the second,
Get me out of here, man. What the are you doing? Get me the out of here.
Alright, today's courtroom hearing is one of those cases where the second you hear what this guy did, you already know the room is not going to be very forgiving. I won't go into exact details, but just know the victim was someone young and someone who should have been able to trust this guy. Somehow, after all of that, he still walks into court trying to paint himself as the victim of alcohol rather than the person who made the choices. It's always interesting when people act like a bottle suddenly grew arms and started making decisions for them. Make sure to subscribe to the channel because the reaction that happens later in this hearing is genuinely one of the most shocking courtroom meltdowns I've ever covered. Let's go ahead and dive in.
First and foremost, I'd like to apologize to the courts for appearing before them today. I'd like to apologize to the victim in this case. I'm not going to use alcohol or drugs as an excuse for anything. However, alcohol was a main factor in this case. But I take full responsibility for my actions because I chose to make the irresponsible decision consuming too much alcohol than I could handle, causing poor, regretful choices leading to my incarceration. I've read the police reports and feel ashamed, embarrassed, and hurt because that's not the person I am. And I wouldn't be standing here today if I would have just been more responsible. I have 4 younger children that I've let down because of being locked away from them, missing out on watching them grow, having to deal with that as a heartache alone. The only thing I can do now is work on myself while incarcerated, take advantage of all programs they offer, and become a better man and a better father, and not give up doing so. I have to make this my last time in jail, and I plan to. I'm sincerely remorseful to my victim in this case, letting her down when I was supposed to be a father figure in her life. I beat myself up over this every day. Over this, wishing I could take it all back. I just hope she can grow up in life and leave this in the past and that it doesn't affect her future. Again, I'm sorry to everyone I caused pain to in this case.
thank you. Why did you call her after you were in jail?
Because I was told by the detective I was allowed to.
Okay.
I didn't call her, I called my wife and she answered the phone.
Right. And what contact did you have with her about retracting her statement or modifying her statement?
It wasn't retracting. We talked about counseling, going to counseling and stuff, because that was something that they was talking about making them do, and something she said she didn't want to do.
Well, trying to whether directly contacting her or contacting her through your wife was wholly inappropriate. And it was further evidence of you trying to take advantage of her at that young age, like you did when this happened.
Now she had asked the detective if she could have contact with me when this case was all started. Then when I went for my preliminary hearing on February 11th, I asked the detective and he told me the same thing.
All right. Well, you're experienced enough in the system to have the wisdom that you shouldn't have been contacting her. Okay. In talking to her, having about anything having to do with this case. So, you've in your statement you say you apologize to her, but then in the pre-sentence report you talk about how you don't believe you did everything you're accused of doing and wanted to take this to trial. What's that all about?
I don't remember exactly what I said, Your Honor, but what I was saying was I don't have recollection of what happened the night of. So I wasn't admitting to, I don't know what happened.
That might be one of the fastest self-contradictions I've ever seen in a courtroom. He basically said, "I'm not making excuses," and then immediately opened the excuse warehouse and gave us a full tour. The whole apology feels like he's applying for a lighter sentence, not actually taking responsibility for what happened. The craziest part is trying to sell himself as a good father and a family man, as if those same responsibilities didn't exist before he committed the crime. You don't get to use your family as a reason for sympathy after ignoring them when it mattered most. And then there's the fact that he was trying to get the victim to change her statement, which makes the entire emotional performance even harder to believe. A judge who has spent years listening to defendants can usually tell the difference between regret and panic over consequences. And this sounds a whole lot more like panic.
So did you or didn't you do this stuff?
Yes.
And I got to tell you, it doesn't get much worse than this kind of stuff.
I understand.
And I would note in the record that in 2009 or 2010, you were sentenced to prison on a burglary, released on judicial release, and then returned to prison after a violation of the judicial release. And you were released January 7th of 13. You went back to prison on another case on May 1st of 13 and got out in August. Went to prison on an attempted burglary, trespass in a habitation, breaking and entering June 23 of 16 through August 5 of 18. A whole bunch of theft offenses between that last prison sentence and where you are today. So you've had a lifetime of criminal activity, but none worse than what has occurred here. So I've reviewed the pre-sentence report and a victim impact statement. I've considered what you have said, what counsel has said, and I've also considered that they've made a joint recommendation of 96 months in prison. And so on count, and I've considered all the provisions in 29, 29, 11, 29, 29, 12, 13, and 14. In consideration of all that, on count 5, I'm going to sentence you to a term of 60 months. On count 6, I'm going to sentence you to a term of 60 months that will be consecutive to one another, with credit for 143 days. And consecutive sentences are necessary to protect the public from future crime by you and for appropriate punishment.
All right, get out, man. Sit down, man. Sit down. Me, man. Stay down. No, man. Get me the out of here, man. Come on.
And
Took my plea back, man. Get me the out of here, man. Get me out of here. Get me out of here, man. Get me out of here, man.
Almost done, Judge.
Get me the out of here.
and they
No, man. Get me out of here. Get
consecutive.
me out of here, man. What the please, nigga? Get me the out of here. Man, get me the out of here, man.
Let me get my leg.
Get me out of here, man.
Just take him into the chair.
Okay, we're in this chair.
All right.
We're listening tomorrow.
Show me on your visiting letter.
Alright.
For jail and for.
All right, man. Stop touching me, man. I'm not doing this, man. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing.
The craziest part about this whole hearing is how quickly the act disappeared once things stopped going his way. A lot of people can look remorseful when they think it might benefit them, but the real test is how they react when the answer is no. That reaction told a much bigger story than the apology ever did. You can't spend 10 minutes asking the court for mercy and then throw a full-on tantrum because you didn't get the result you wanted. Accountability isn't just saying I'm sorry when the cameras are on, it's accepting the consequences when the sentence comes down. Do you think his apology was ever genuine, or was it just an attempt to get a lighter sentence? Let me know down below. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.